Wait, hang on.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Perfect. What's the deal, Panther fans? It's your boy, Tony Dunn, a.k.a. The Professor. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. Tonight's show, Carolina Panthers seek to fly high against the New York Jets as we anticipate week one. Football is so close, only 2 days away. Cody Lashney, my co-host, here to help me, get ready for the Jets and deal with all the questions we got about what this season could be.
Tony, I'm pumped. We have Panthers football going forward up until at least December. We know that for sure. Every Sunday from here on out, Tony Dunn. I'm pumped about it. You already know there's nowhere I'd rather be on a Tuesday night than sitting right here with you boys talking some Panther football, but also cutting it up with the most lit, best Panther fans in all of YouTube, Tony Dunn. You already know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the man that was here, Danny Chan, AJ Lindsay, Sideshow Rob, Tim Estes, Joey the Blind Panther Esquivel, Nova Black, Robbie Switzer, Tan Tizzy, Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The Panthers are going to play the New York Jets. Actually, they're going to host the New York Jets. They are 5.5-point favorites. And recently we learned that the starting line that has been determined for quite some time has been undermined by the COVID protocol. John Miller is going to be out. Dennis Daly stepping in. And we got CK to help us figure out what's going on with the Carolina Panthers as they approach week one. What's up, CK?
Oh, just man, we've been waiting. This week is upon us. Even if we're not interested in who's playing this Thursday, I guess we kind of are, but it's still a big game that we get to watch. So, I mean, we're 2 days away from NFL football of some sort.
Dallas and Tampa Bay, right?
Exactly.
At home for the champions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Man, Dak Prescott returns to the football field, hopefully, maybe.
Right.
Cam Newton's still without a job. And I know people don't want to hear about Cam Newton, but his name kind of for a moment went to the Dallas name board. But football is here, and it's moments away. Mike McCarthy will look like an idiot, and Tom Brady will look like he's 12.
Right.
Yep. He'll look like a 25-year-old man ready to win another.
He's absolutely sold his soul to the devil, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, at least he's lathered himself with avocados to the point where he is just pristine.
Right.
Dude, he gets an IV drip from the blood of innocent sacrifice victims.
Yes,
and
exactly.
he gets an intravenous drip, and it's good, dude. He can afford that. If you were Tom Brady, you might do the same thing. Whatever. We're gonna have to beat him the old-fashioned way, playing Panthers football and beating that ass on defense, baby. Let's go.
All right, you're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast. We're on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, all the major podcast outlets. Go ahead and smash the thumbs up button if you're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube's, wherever you bees. The number is 252-228-5098. Let's go ahead and jump into really what is the news outside of John Miller hitting the COVID. I actually heard there was only 2 players that were unvaccinated on the Panthers. And now it's reported that John Miller will be out for 10 days, which indicates he's one of the two people.
Right.
Dennis Daly stepping in at right guard. And I heard a story or Dennis Daly saying he feels better on the left side. The questions are all about the offensive line in week 1. What do we do, guys? Is COVID already the Achilles heel of this offensive line?
Well, and then another thing, Sam Tecklenburg has gotten called up from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. So again, listen, we have to really take Matt Rule at his word. Is that this offensive line is IU5, it's under construction, and they're gonna be moving pieces, and that's why I'm still sticking with my initial prediction that at some point in time, Taylor Moton's playing left tackle and Brady Christensen's playing right tackle, and Deontay Brown is going to crack this lineup. Now, I'm hoping that it doesn't take a catastrophe for that to happen, but I do think it is inevitable. I do think the Panthers are trying to make moves to shore up that offensive line. As people are already letting me know in the chat, I very recently had a very bad interaction with offensive line play. So I'm hoping that my Panthers don't replicate this offensive line hell that I've currently been going through. So I'm hoping that it's not going to be as bad as it was for me this past Saturday. But I do think that the Panthers are just trying to make some moves to shore up their roster before they go into this season, man, and start the grind that is an NFL schedule.
Just that nonsense of it being your offensive line. That Georgia defense is vaunted. I mean, they are legit, and my whole wife's family are all Georgia alums. So, look, I'm rocking my ECU hat, and we then got killed in this by App State. But I watched that defense, and from the first series, bro, I knew that shit is legit. The Georgia defense this year is going to go down. It's one of the better defenses in college football history. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
All right.
And you know what? So is Clemson's. That was a
That's
defensive.
Fine. That's fine, but it wasn't even close, man. That
Slugfest.
Georgia defense looked sick. I mean,
It does
they
look
were
sick.
sick.
It's still Alabama's title to lose.
Sure.
Like if you look at what Alabama did and what Bryce Young looks to do, and you know, again, this isn't a college football podcast. I think my Tigers will be fine in due time. But yeah, man, I'm excited just to have football back.
CK, this week we host the New York Jets.
Yep.
Formerly, I guess we have there's a lot on the line. We've talked about this as being a cool week 1 opener because the Jets drafted Zach Wilson and the Panthers traded for Sam Darnold, the former Zach Wilson. Now it's kind of a revenge game. 5.5 point advantage for the Carolina Panthers. How you feeling heading into week 1?
I feel like we better not sleep on the Jets. You know, I mean, everybody wanted to talk about Zach Wilson not looking good in training camp, but like when he was in the preseason, he looked like he was pretty sharp. And I think that it's worth maybe acknowledging that maybe these guys aren't going to be, even though they may be in rebuild, they have a lot of the pieces that they need to build on. And, you know, it could very well be a trap game if we go into here not expecting Zach Wilson to actually be a quarterback who can get stuff done.
Cody, I thought this is I think the Jets were trash last year, and I think the Panthers could be all of a sudden. I'm kind of riding with you right now at this moment. We could be very good all of a sudden. The offense has a lot of pieces. We're waiting for the Joe Brady magic to take effect, and LSU's, what is his name, Orgeron or whatever?
Ed Orgeron.
Yeah, that dude is still crying for Brady to come back home as they struggle, right?
Yeah.
So we're waiting for. We have a lot of offensive pieces,
right?
We do have the pieces, and then on the defense, there's excitement there, homie. Like I'm starting to think here, week 1, Sam Darnold's just better than average. I still think we win by double digits.
Yeah, and I think
scores.
that the defense is going to give him some leeway to play. I mean, we're all hoping and feeling like this defense is going to be special, and I really think so too. I know Panther fans think so, and I'm thinking that if we're able to come out there and just start smacking fools and start to get some takeaways and get some interceptions, I'm hoping that it provides that opportunity for the offense to find a quick rhythm.
Right.
Hey, you're going to have some bad plays. And I think going into this game, we're all going to want to overreact to every good play or every bad play. It's going to be hard to actually take a breath, take a step back, and look at the entire game for what it is, which, by the way, we're going to be breaking down on our post-game show right after the game. But I think that this defense is going to give our offense an opportunity to play fast, to play loose, to feel like their mistakes aren't as big as they might have been otherwise. And I'm hoping that these playmakers that we have on our offensive exterior boom early, because they have all the potential to do so, man. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and now you open up that big body red zone threat in Terrace Marshall, and now we're ready to roll. And by the way, Joe Brady already knows how to use Terrace Marshall to his maximum effectiveness when you use him at LSU. So we should be ready to roll, man.
I'm all about Terrace. Terrace, dude, you have made me a believer in like 28
He made you a
days.
believer.
You're right. Yeah, but you were singing the praises. You were whispering the whispers in my ears.
Sweet little
and you're right.
nothings.
He did make me a believer. I think that's a safe jersey to buy. Carolina hosting the New York Jets in week 1. CK, we in some ways we've been looking at the front end of this schedule in I guess in an anticipated light. And what I mean by that is we're hosting the Jets, rookie quarterback, rookie head coach. Then you get the Saints, who have somewhat been hobbled. I'm not worried about these injuries. I think they're still dangerous.
Yeah.
The Saints, and then you get the Texans after that without Deshaun Watson. They named Tyrod Taylor the starter. Carolina has I won't say a lot of expectations, but don't you expect the beginning of the season to be good? And if it's not, that would suck, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think listen, I mean, we have a young team, so I could see us getting started off to a rocky, beginning. But listen, I luckily we have the home field advantage for a couple of weeks. This game against the Jets is probably going to be an identity finder, and we're going to find out who we really are and what type of players we're going to be. We're going to continue to try to be. But yeah, these guys are like I said, I think they're too young for us to just come out of the gate, just the barrel just hot and smoking. You know what I mean? I think there's still a lot of growing that needs to be done, especially with us not really knowing what this offensive line is going to look like. How often has it been that it's not until midway through the season that we see some solidarity, I guess, within the offensive line or rotation orders and things like that. So it's starting off fast could very well be possible, but it also is very, in my opinion, unlikely.
Well, here's a question that kind of adds to that, and I think this is our boy Tacos here from Periscope asking a question. Is it fair to give this offense a few weeks to get going? And I think that's a decent question, and I think a lot of it is how our defense plays. If our defense does play as well as we're hoping, then yeah, they might give them a little bit of leeway. But especially, with my opinion that I've been having, that this offensive line is not going to start in its final form. That, different changes are going to have to be made along the way. And again, I hope that it isn't a catastrophe that causes that. But I don't know. It depends on how long we're talking, how many weeks. I mean, we're hoping that our offense can find some kind of good rhythm before we play the Saints in week 2.
I'm giving no leeway, homie. Zero leeway on this offense. No. You can't tell me. Of course, the offensive line has been bad. It's just as bad as it's always been. It's no worse than it's ever been. We're getting Christian McCaffrey back. We have DJ Moore, who is just Mr. all day. I mean, they just go to him every play, and he's
Right.
there. They got Robbie Anderson. They got Terrace. No, there's no excuses for this offense to start off slow. And if any, and in fact, it should start off hot as defenses trying to catch up. Or maybe actually they say no. No, they usually say defenses have the advantage early. I don't believe that should be the case here, man. We got a lot of stars on this offense. I ain't giving no leeway on that because this defense could be, like you said, a game changer, but we cannot just rely on this defense to be like a top 10 defense all of a sudden. That's not fair to them. There's a lot of talent on this offense.
Right, we have to.
I'm
play
not giving any
football.
leeway.
Yeah, we have to play complementary football. We can't leave our defense out to dry and just let them.
It's not fair to them.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say weeks. I mean, again, I would say going into to Dallas, we should have a very good idea of what our offense is capable of doing because we're going to see them against a very hurt, not fully formed defense in the New York Jets, which we're about to preview here soon. But then right after that, we go from a lax opponent to a division rival who, for the past couple of years, their defense has been as nasty as you can find potentially doing in the NFL. So, I mean, we're going to have two very different kinds of tests in those first 2 weeks. I mean, this Jets game is the perfect opportunity for us to get things correct on offense before we play that division rival. Dude, we have to stop losing to the Saints.
If we don't put up 23, I'm gonna say this: if we don't put up 23 points in every game for the first 5 games, I'm gonna be disappointed. Like big time disappointed. 23 points. That's not crazy.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's not. But I want to. I mean, yeah, 21 should be the floor.
I say 23 should be the floor. We're playing. This offense should at least be able to put up numbers, some basic numbers. I'm tired of giving them the pass, right? There is talent on this offense, and they better deliver. And when I say I'm tired of giving them a pass, we didn't give them a pass. We had to deal with Teddy Bridgewater, who couldn't give us the numbers. I need to see some touchdowns, homie. Big time. That's what I need.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even just touchdowns. We need to see explosive, like an explosive offense. We haven't had that.
Right.
We haven't had that since 2015. Like to be completely honest with you, Cam Newton.
2017 was a good year, but it was just an incremental year.
It was like field. That was that moment when I guess I know Cam was hurt from 2016 with his shoulder still, right? It wasn't the major injury that happened in 2018 with the TJ Watt hit, but he was still hurt. And in 2017, you could tell that he wasn't heaving the ball down the field. Like it wasn't happening as often.
The TJ Watt hit was 2018. 2017, he was 11-5. We can't talk about Cam on this show. We're not.
But what I mean,
anymore.
What I mean by that
no
is
more talking about Cam.
Despite what our comments say after every video we post, where the comments is like, enough talking about Cam. Yeah,
I know. That's what I'm saying. We can't talk about him. We got to move on to this.
But yeah, we haven't had that explosive offense since 2015. I mean, it's just the reality of it. Like we haven't had.
Ted Ginn Jr. has been our biggest downfield threat,
and probably since Steve Smith. Yeah.
I mean, like name one who's been a bigger downfield threat than Ted Ginn. That's how long it's
not
been.
one.
You know what really? You know what, guys? You know what really hit me heavy over the past few days? I mean, yeah, of course we want to win. We want to go fucking undefeated if we can.
Right.
But man, I really want to start kicking the ass of our division. I'm tired of losing with the Saints.
Good luck with that.
I'm tired of fucking around with the Falcons, and I'm not even down with this foregone conclusion that Tampa Bay is just supposed to roll over everyone this year, dude. Every game is a new game, and I want these Panthers to go in there feeling Like, they're the best fucking football team ever fielded. Every single Sunday that they go out, man. I mean, really, I want these Panthers to kick ass and take names, dude. I mean, especially when they're on these division rivals.
We got to put speaking of kicking ass and taking names, we got to get to this Cromartie Jr. comment, which I think is not related to Antonio Cromartie because he's only got 3,000 followers or something like that. You're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. You can be a part of the show, 252-228-5098. We got Scott Mason from Play Like a Jet coming to help us preview the Panthers hosting the New York Jets in what is an exciting, at least for week one, matchup. So check us out there. Guys, did you see this? Is that Antonio Cromartie? I sent it to you earlier. This tweet that says Corey Davis is gonna make JC Horn look like a speed bump or something to that.
Yeah, Corey Davis is gonna make JC Horn look like Jeff Okudah.
Yeah, Jeff Okudah. That's what it was. What's up with that? And is that person real? I don't think that's the real person.
He's got 4,000 followers, but I would probably
4,000. I have more than that.
Yeah, I would say probably not him.
All right.
Is that
Jeff Okudah?
When you sent me that, I thought that it was just like some bullshit Jets fan. I didn't even see
Well,
it
turns out it was.
The Jets are actually following him, though, by the way.
Huh.
Like the actual team.
Chat.
I mean, hey, let them run up to get done up, bro. JC Horn's about to slap these pussies in the fucking mouth. Dude. I'm telling you, dude. And people are not ready for what JC Horn's about to do this year. I've been consistent this whole way through. Before even seeing a single snap of JC Horn, he is already one of the most important parts of our defense. And he's going to go out there and prove it real damn quick, too. I'm telling you.
So
dude, I want to smoke tonight, bro.
Dude, outside of linebacker, we have some studs on this team. Like,
you're right.
Like, if you look at, if you look at this, we have some core players that could put us in a higher echelon of defense that we haven't seen since 2013. You know what I mean? Like, we have a cornerback that has the potential to be a shutdown corner. By the way, Dante Jackson has been winning me over with his interviews. Like, he actually comes across as a really mature, like, leadership type of a guy. Like, I gotta still see it on the field. I gotta actually, go there. But I mean, even with this gameplay in the preseason, I've been thoroughly impressed with him. He very well could be playing himself into a nice contract this offseason, or this season. But we have a ridiculous defensive line, with Brian Burns leading the way there. And then you look at Jeremy Chin. I mean, like, we have, like, even if you just look at those three, JC Horn, Brian Burns, and Jeremy Chin, we have like three incredible or potentially incredible players that could swing the trajectory this defense has had, and put us in a really good spot this year.
I agree. I mean, look, there's some, injury is the ultimate equalizer or diminisher of the NFL. But I'm with you. I feel like Burns, Chin, and if we're talking about Horn being rookie of the year, like, that's crazy. All of a sudden, the superstar talent that you're accumulating. All right, the number's 252-228-5098. If we were to simulate this season and the Carolina Panthers, because we've got 6 minutes to do this, the Panthers season in a nutshell, is it plus 500? Is it mediocre? I saw somebody say that somebody did this. We were 5-12 and picking number one. How long would it take to see what the Panthers did, CK?
Right now?
Yeah.
I got it already done.
We're going to do it. All right, let's see what. Put it up. Let's see this Madden. What is Madden, the algorithm of sports, tell us?
I'm sure whatever it is, it's not kind.
What would be kind to you? All right, before he puts it up, what would be kind?
Oh, dude, I think them giving us a 9 and 8 would be kind.
Dude.
I
All
think everyone outside of Panther fans, whether it's power rankings that I've been seeing or Madden or whatever it is, everyone outside of Panther fans just thinks the Panthers are shit, and they're going to be shit this year, and they're going to be picking.
It would be
top
9
10
and 8. 9 and 8. So I would say this: 9 and 8. All right, let's see it. That's what I want to see.
Wait, hold on. So I'm about to throw it up here on screen, but CK, before we do, give us a little bit of that sweet, sexy shame that we put on these people over here.
Subscriber shame. Hit that like, motherfuckers.
100 people watching the stream, 42 likes. That's all we ask. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell to get updates every time we go live. You're going to want to hang out with us when the season starts. And I don't know if you've noticed, the season is about to start. So hit those like buttons. Without further ado, let's get to this Madden simulation.
Yeah. So this is a 16 game. This is based on the live roster that EA has for our up-to-date roster. And so it's got us winning
17, right?
It's 17 games. They've got us winning 12 out of the 17.
Whoa.
Hell yeah. What?
Think about it.
I take back every bad thing I've ever said about you.
Look at all these games, though. Like, there's only a few that were kind of like blowout. We lost significantly to the Cowboys, and we were winning pretty significantly to the Texans. Everything's within a touchdown other than that. It's very, very close.
Win against the Saints in week 2. Go to week 2. Look, if this is our week 2, I'm going to be out of control on this point. If we win 35-30 against the Saints, I will be out of control on this podcast.
Going through this
schedule,
it's clear. Like, honestly, I could see this being possible. Like, if you look at the wins, like the losses or Cowboys, they have the potential of being a really good team this year. The Vikings, I think that's a bit of a stretch. The Patriots have the potential to be a fantastic team as well, depending upon what Mac Jones brings. You have the Bills, the Buccaneers. Yeah. Listen, you have plenty of people here. I mean, the teams we're losing to are like playoff caliber teams other than the Vikings. And everybody else, you got to think Jets, the Saints are a big question mark at quarterback. The Texans clearly aren't going to be doing anything this year. The Eagles are a big question mark. They don't even have a quarterback that I think that anybody's going to have any confidence in. The Giants, the Falcons, the Cardinals are, again, they're kind of a middle of the pack team.
Win on the road against. Actually, I think this is now.
I'll be right back, guys.
Feeling this a New England and winning at home. New England setting us off then to go and win against the Cardinals. All right, so we as we are waiting, we're gonna get some calls in here in just a second. 252-228-5098. Smash the thumbs up button. Be a part of the show. We're going to have Scott Mason in here in just a moment to help us preview this Jets game. Week 1, Cody, let's go back to this, is that as the Carolina Panthers are ready to enter this season that could potentially, like Madden says, be a 12, like you have said over and over, boom or bust season.
Yeah.
In week 1, how do you think the Panthers come out? And I'm not saying, like, do you get a win or this and that? It's like, what are your questions? What are your intrigues? Where is your focus? Because for me, it's like this is number 1. The story is all going to surround Sam Darnold. And if Sam Darnold doesn't, at least at the very minimum, barely exceed average, it's going to be a tough ask for the Panthers in any week.
I think it will. Tony, one of the things that I've been saying for months now is that this entire team has something to prove. Nobody can rest on their laurel of their records or anything that you've done in the past.
Yeah, there's no record.
It doesn't matter anymore. and frankly, none of it is really proven. I mean, even for the best proven player on our football team right now is easily Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And after the year that he had last year, he has to prove that he can hold up to a full schedule after being paid all that money that we paid to him, right? Everyone has something to prove. Everyone. And the biggest thing I'm looking at is honestly this defense, because we really need to remember that across the field, is a rookie quarterback making his very first NFL start. Okay, we need to make this dude see some ghosts like Sam Darnold did once upon a time.
Amen.
I see us using Jeremy Chin on a lot of blitz packages from the nickel position. I can see some fire blitzes in there, but I can also just see them shifting the protection and rotating the coverage post snap. So that way you confuse Zach Wilson and give him some different looks and really try and put our defensive backs in some advantageous matchups. And we have to get him out of the pocket, man. We have to let him know that if you think that you're just going to sit back there and chuck the football downfield, there are consequences. And those consequences are named Brian Burns, Derek Brown, and Hassan Reddick.
I saw a story from Joe Person, and it was like 10 things that you can expect. It was just like he had to fill some space and he had to come up with 10 lines. He said that Hassan Reddick would not duplicate, like his kind of guess, his hot take was that Hassan Reddick would not duplicate his success of last season. I'm starting to think you add these two guys beside each other like that, he might play himself into a big time contract. And I think he bet on himself by coming to Carolina with a 1-year deal.
Yeah. Something else to remember is that, his bookend for that season was Chandler Jones, and Chandler Jones was hurt most of the year last year. So it's not like he even had the benefit of having Chandler Jones on the other end like he did last year. But it's the combination of all these players together. It's the speed of both Brian Burns and Hassan Reddick coming off the edge. It's Derek Brown being able to be that beast in the middle and really eating up double teams and potentially even triple teams, and just allowing our linebackers to play fast. If we're going to take that next step in believing that Jermaine Carter Jr. is going to be our full-time inside linebacker, Luke Kuechly always talked about and stressed the importance of those defensive tackles. That if those defensive tackles are getting pushed and being disruptive, it allows them to flow through those gaps and play fast, smash mouth football. And while we have a linebacker core that's, kind of shaky right now, that's important for our guys.
You're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast, the longest running Panthers podcast. Go ahead, smash the thumbs up button and be a part of the show. The number is 252-228-5098 as we get ready for opening week of football. Cody, let's go ahead and bring in our guest, Scott Mason from Play Like a Jet. My buddy, we are opening the season against you guys. And I would say if this was a week 8 matchup, it would not matter. And what I mean by that, the storylines would not matter. But week 1, it's a perfect matchup. Sam Darnold, the Panthers traded for him, as well as the Jets have moved on to Zach Wilson. Sam Darnold 2.0 to some people. Man, it makes for some fun storylines in week 1 of NFL football.
Yeah, plus you got Robbie Anderson there too. So you got the Darnold Anderson connection back in action. It'll be fun. I think this is something where for both teams, it really could be a pivotal matchup, because I was just talking to my buddies on the Rockpile Report. They do a Bills podcast, and I was saying how if the Jets can win this game, they could go back home to face the Patriots with major momentum, and the crowd will be just completely amped. It'll remind me a little bit of 2009 when the Jets beat Houston on the road, then came home and beat the Patriots. The Patriots are obviously right to be picked off now more so than at any time in about the last 20 years, especially considering that even though the Patriots weren't that good last year, the Jets were absolutely terrible. So this is huge for both teams, because I think if Carolina can win and Sam Darnold has a good game and he develops early chemistry with Moore and with Anderson, and obviously if Christian McCaffrey, it looks like he's good as new, then you could have a situation where the Panthers could surprise some people. So there's a lot riding on this momentum-wise for both teams. I'm very curious to see how Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich attack Sam Darnold, because obviously the Jets know him well. This coaching staff wasn't here, but still the front office and other players on that defense had to practice against Darnold. So it'll be very interesting. Like you said, I think there still would have been some intrigue if this was middle of the season, but this is way more intrigue week one than it ever would have been at any other time.
Scott, it's actually kind of funny that you mentioned playing the Patriots and, potentially the Jets using this Panthers game as a springboard to build momentum against the division rival. Because I was literally just saying that about us before you came on, is that after we play the Jets, we have the Saints here at home.
Right.
And our history has not been too kind in recent years whenever we play the Saints. And, I think looking at especially the difference between those two teams last year, a lot of Panther fans, frankly, are looking at this rebuilding Jets team as an opportunity for the Panthers to get right on offense and defense. It kind of seems like you guys are thinking about this relatively the same way. I want to kind of move to your defense. You guys have been kind of injured. The injury bug has been going around. You guys recently brought in, I believe it was, help me here, was it Shaq?
Shaq
Lawson,
right?
Yeah,
former
Shaq
Clemson
Lawson.
dude,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, from one of my Clemson Tigers. Tell me what you're expecting from this defense and how do you think this matchup will change now because of the injuries that you guys have sustained.
Well, the injury that hurts the most, obviously, was Carl Lawson, who was the big offseason acquisition.
I said Shaq Lawson. It's Carl Lawson.
Well, no. Shaq Lawson's the guy they got, so you were right. They just traded for Shaq Lawson. But Carl Lawson's the one who got injured. He was tearing it up in camp and just absolutely dominating, and it looked like he was going to be the first really strong edge rusher the Jets have had really since John Abraham in 2006. And now, 2005, they traded him in 2006, and now he's out. So what Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich are going to have to do is lean on the strength of the team, which is the interior defensive line. They've got Quinnen Williams, who looks to be an emerging superstar, John Franklin Myers, really good pass rusher. You guys are familiar with Sheldon Rankins. He looks to be back to pretty close to full health, and he's dangerous when he's healthy. Foley Fatukasi is one of the best at stuffing the run on the interior defensive line. So they're going to have to lean a lot on that. The edge rushers are pedestrian as they have been over the last couple of years. They just got Shaq Lawson. They've got Bryce Huff, who flashed a little bit, did well in camp this year, but he was an undrafted rookie last year. The inside linebackers, they're relying on late-round rookies. So you've got Hamza Nasruddin from Florida State, who I like a lot. I think he has a chance to be a really good player. Jamie and Sherwood is another one that they're going to be relying on a lot. But C.J. Mosley comes back. So he looked really good in camp, and that's really what people are hoping, that he's going to be back to form. But remember, he barely played the last 2 years. He opted out last year, and then you have a situation where the year before he got hurt halfway through the opener, came back for less than a quarter against the Patriots, and then that was it. So they're weak there. The secondary, the cornerbacks, that's another area where the Panthers could probably take advantage, because Bryce Hall from Virginia, he played fairly well last year in the less than half a season that he played coming off the injury, but he was a fifth-round pick last year. They've got a couple of late-round rookies who are probably vying for the other outside spots. I would assume Brandon Eccles is probably going to be the one that ends up there. So that's a matchup you could exploit. And then the safeties are another unit that are pretty strong. You've got Marcus May, who's one of the best safeties in the league, free safety. And then the strong safety is going to be, why am I drawing a blank? LaMarcus Joyner, sorry, left my head for a second, who struggled a little bit last year with the Raiders, but before that with the Rams. Say that again?
We're familiar with him. Like, we've played him a good bit in the past, and he is a good player.
Right, and the thing with him is he struggled with the Raiders because they tried using him at slot. That's not where he's comfortable. He's going to be back as a strong safety now with the Jets. That's really where he's better. So I think there are areas where the Panthers could exploit. I mean, we'll see what Joe Brady's made of here, because, as I said, edge rusher, they're very thin. Inside linebacker, very thin. And cornerback, very thin. So Saleh and Ulbrich are going to be challenged to try and use that interior defensive line and use some different safety looks to try and fool Darnold and to try and get some pressure on him. So we'll see how Brady counterbalances that. But that's the strength of the team right now, is those two safeties and the interior defensive line. The rest of it is very much a work in progress, Cody.
We're all wondering about, I guess, the mystery that surrounds these teams. For us, it's the mystery of Sam Darnold. Can he be a reclamation project?
Yeah.
What can this team be? You're dealing with a rookie head coach, a rookie quarterback who is going to be started from the beginning. And if I am not a rookie, I'll be able to play this. Let's see if this works.
I have a lot of experience, when it comes to.
I think this is Greg Van Roten.
In the NFL. As 31 years old, I don't know if I'm breaking news to you, but you are the old man in the locker room. I'm curious what you think about that.
Interesting here is the Carolina Panthers are one of the younger teams in the league. We have J.J. Jansen, who is, I guess, 30, whatever. Greg Van Roten, a former Carolina Panther, is the oldest guy on your team. Is that true? He's the old man, or is this one of the elders? Is he the oldest? Because if so, you gotta be a young team with a rookie head coach, a rookie quarterback, and Greg Van Roten as your old guy.
Well, I'd have to look and see the ages of all the guys. I know that Van Roten is 31. I think Morgan Moses is either 30 or 31, who's one of the other guys on the offensive line. I'd have to look at the rest of the team's ages off the top of my head. He's might
the
be
oldest dude.
Yeah, he might be the oldest. Yeah, if he's not, it's right there. So
here's your podcast for tomorrow, dude. Is who's the oldest Jet?
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, the thing about it is they're going through, and you guys are doing it in Carolina now too. They're going through a rebuild where they're trying to stack the young talent. And even in the offseason when they made the free agent signings, other than Morgan Moses, who's 30, they leaned younger. Corey Davis is 26. Carl Lawson is 26. Even Sheldon Rankins, I think, is like 26. So they were going after guys that were in that sweet spot. And they've leaned heavily on draft picks over the last couple of years, and they're relying a lot on those guys to step forward. We'll see what Denzel Mims does, but obviously there was a lot of hype around Elijah Moore in training camp this year. You've got guys on the defense. I mentioned Bryce Huff, for example. Quinnen Williams, I think, is like only 22 or 23 years old. So you could go down the line of the guys that they consider the core pieces. Even C.J. Mosley, I think, is only 28 or 29, believe it or not. So they have a very young team, and that's going to be an interesting thing for the Panthers to test, because there are a lot of guys that are not as experienced and are still developing. So it'll be, I think, a very fascinating matchup. And like you said, Cody, as Jets fans, we're looking at this as a real test of, okay, if they can get by the Panthers and then come back home facing a division rival that isn't as strong as it has been in many years, the Jets could potentially surprise some people. And I think with the Panthers, it's the same thing with the Saints. The Saints have got to be at the weakest point they've been at in a really long time. Breeze is gone. Michael Thomas is hurt. Jameis Winston, I've always liked him, but we got to see what he can do in this system now. So it'll be really interesting. Two teams that are hoping to be on the upward trajectory that are relying on a lot of younger players.
Yeah, I actually want to talk about one of those young players specifically, and we'll stay on that offensive line with Van Roten. There was this controversy. I wouldn't really say a controversy, but this narrative happening around Mekhi Becton that he had come into camp overweight, or that there was just a lot of weirdness going on with that situation. I was wondering if maybe you could shed some light on that, what those rumors exactly were, how much truth there was to them, and do you think Mekhi Becton is looking to be that franchise left tackle that you think you drafted?
Yeah, so I think really what happened is he had the plantar fasciitis, and then Robert Saleh made some cryptic comments, and so people read into that. But then Mekhi Becton was posting videos on his Instagram of him looking like he was in phenomenal shape, especially for a guy his size. And from what I understand, once he finally started to practice at camp, he looked just fine. I think the big problem is that he was getting beaten really badly at camp on a regular basis by Carl Lawson before Lawson got hurt. And really what the story there to me is that when Mekhi Becton was drafted last year, and I absolutely loved Becton, even before the draft, I just saw so much potential in him. You got to remember, when he was at Louisville, they didn't do a lot of true pass sets. So he was always going to be a work in progress, particularly with his hand usage and his technique. There's going to be a lot, even his footwork. That was something that Mekhi said to me when he came on the show. I asked him about it, and he said that he'd been working on it with Big Duke Manyweather, who was his trainer. And so when he exceeded all expectations last year, people were like, wow, I can't believe how good this guy is. I thought it was going to take him a while to get up to speed and become the player that we were expecting. I think what probably happened is a lot of these teams started to look at the tape and started to see some weaknesses that maybe they weren't seeing when there wasn't any pro tape on him. And again, remember, because he didn't have as many true pass sets at Louisville, there wasn't as much to look at there. So maybe that's part of what was going on with Carl Lawson, is that he sat down and saw, and there's some technique stuff. And we may see that when the regular season starts, because Preston Smith from the Packers was dominating Becton when they were doing the dual practices at training camp. So you heard a lot of that, and that was what people were starting to go to. But I think there's also the distinct possibility, and you see this with some players, that in practice they get beat up a little bit, but when the lights are on, boom, there's a switch that goes on. Because even last year, when Becton went up against Jordan Jenkins, who I would hardly say is some sort of stud pass rusher, Jenkins would get the better of him a fair amount of time in practice. But once the game started, Becton was really having his way with a lot of these guys. I mean, he did really well against Bosa, for example. And there were a couple of other guys that he really made look ordinary. So it's going to be interesting to follow. I think it's very possible that he may just still very much be a work in progress, and our hopes got higher than they should be because he overperformed early, and now teams have looked at the tape, and that's why you saw a little bit of that regression. I think the weight narrative got overblown a little bit, and I think it really is more to do with the technique and all that. But I'm curious to see how he does. I know he'll probably be facing Brian Burns on Sunday, and Burns, he could be a breakout candidate this year. He's been pretty good for you guys the first two. Yeah, he's been pretty good.
Baby. Here it comes. He's 12 sacks this year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Burns is that guy, Tony, that could very well be a breakout candidate. And so I'm curious to see how he tests against Becton on Sunday. It'll be one of the more interesting matchups.
What do you hope to see on Sunday and expect to see in the season for the Jets? And what I mean by that is, tell me what you hope for week 1 to be, and what you believe the I guess we call it the pandemic season, the second part of the pandemic, the 2021-22 season. What do you expect it to be for the Jets?
Well, I think the main thing that I want to see is I want to see that the Jets got a lot of key decisions right. And so here's what I mean by that. I want to see Robert Saleh looking like he's the coach that could be here for the next 10 to 15 years. I want to see that his staff truly understands how to utilize the talent. I want to see that the young players are developing, especially, of course, Zach Wilson. But beyond Wilson, even guys like Elijah Moore. I want to see good play from Michael Carter. I want to see Elijah Vera Tucker and Mekhi Becton playing well and starting to become a big part of the foundation of that offensive line. I'm not as concerned about wins and losses this year as I am about coming out of the season thinking that the Jets truly are on the right track. Zach Wilson obviously is where it begins and ends. But for this season, if they can give me a fun offense that looks like it's headed in the right direction and the guys in charge look like they know what they're doing, I'll be happy. Now, obviously, this Sunday against the Panthers, I'd like to see the Jets get a win. And certainly, I'd like to see Zach Wilson outplay Sam Darnold. because I'm sure you can imagine the headlines are going to be really, really annoying if Sam Darnold plays well and Wilson doesn't play well. It's going to be like, oh, did the Jets make a mistake trading Sam Darnold? So I'm sure you can imagine, Tony, I don't really need that. So I would like to see Wilson outplay Darnold and the Jets win. But as far as my overall season hopes, if they win 5 or 6 games, but all the things I just said seem to be pushing in the right direction, I'll be fine with that. I'm not really concerned. Look, if they contend unexpectedly for a playoff spot, great. That's an added bonus, but that's not really what I'm expecting.
Who do you want to work more, Saleh or Wilson?
Got to be Wilson. Because, look.
I know. That's so silly. It's a stupid question in a way.
No, but you want Saleh to work too. Because, it's very important. But Wilson, it's just, you know how it is. It's so hard to get a legitimate, like, franchise level quarterback. And that's a weird term because I think there's various tiers. Like, to me, franchise quarterback means a guy that could be a Pro Bowl level guy. But then I think that, there's tiers, right? There's Kirk Cousins, who I think more highly of than a lot of other people. And I think he's the kind of guy that, like, he could be a Pro Bowl type. He's good, and you could have him there for 10, 15 years, whatever. But if you can get that guy that's above that, what Cam Newton was for you guys for a little bit in Carolina before the injuries took their toll and he physically started to break down. Yeah. Even a guy like a Matt Ryan or Phillip Rivers, or obviously, if you go a little bit further than that, and you talk about.
Don't give me that Phillip Rivers. Don't give me that Phillip. Cody, I was going to ask you this, and it's just on Scott's point. Is you how you got a franchise quarterback when you don't talk about his ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all talking about our quarterbacks. That's the thing, is that when you have a franchise quarterback, you're like, oh, well, what do we got to do to get our defense right?
Well,
what do we got to do? We don't got a punt returner. We don't got this. You're not sitting there talking about the quarterback. All we do is talk about the quarterback until we got one.
To me, the quarterback is the opposite of the offensive line. Even if the offensive line is doing good, you don't ever talk about them, right? But the quarterback, they're going to get all the conversation if they're winning or if they're losing. And, Scott, one of the things I want to ask you, and, one part of the reason why so many people here in Carolina are optimistic about what Sam Darnold might be able to do is not just because of Sam, it's what we can provide to Sam. So we have weapons here. We have Christian McCaffrey. He's able to reunite with Robbie Anderson. And we all think that DJ Moore is another one of these guys that people could really be talking about in a different kind of way after this year. So my question in relation to your team is, what are you expecting from Zach Wilson with the current offense as it is? Do you have enough weapons for him? I know you guys are very high on Elijah Moore, and that's a name that apparently he's been very impressive for you guys in training camp. But outside of him, does Zach have the proper pieces around him to put up a competitive offense this year?
By the way, before I even answer that, I should just say, when you mentioned DJ Moore, I used to live in what's called the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia. And I watched DJ Moore play live when he was at Maryland. And I've been a DJ Moore believer for quite a while.
Oh, cool.
And I'm a big fan of his. I think he's going to do a great job for you guys. I love that core that you guys are building in Carolina. I really like Terrace Marshall Jr. too. I think he's going to be a really good receiver for your team. But as far as Zach Wilson, though, I think they did a really nice job of taking the right steps, because one thing that's been a problem for the Jets is ever since 2015, and I'm not going to say 2016 because everything fell apart, but they did have the same guys, and then I think Decker got hurt, so it wasn't the same thing. But in 2015, they had Brandon Marshall, they had Eric Decker, they had an emerging Quincy Enunwa, they had a really good receiving core. Now, I don't know that I would say that any of these guys, at least as of now, we'll see what happens with Elijah Moore if he turns into something more. I don't think any of these guys are as good as Brandon Marshall was. Like, you don't have a bona fide number one receiver, but what you do have is a deep group of very solid to good receivers. So you've got Corey Davis, who's a very good player. He's not great. I don't think he's going to make an all-pro team, but a very reliable target, very talented. You've got Elijah Moore, who, as we said, he really stood out in camp, and the reporters I talked to just couldn't shut up about him. Every single day it was Elijah Moore, Elijah Moore, Elijah Moore. Keelan Cole is going to be the 4th or 5th receiver, and he's a really solid wide receiver. So, you have him at the back end of your receiving core. You've also got Jamison Crowder, who is one of the better slot receivers in the league. You've got Denzel Mims, who we'll see what happens. He showed flashes last year, a little disappointing in camp this year. But again, if he's your 4th or 5th receiver, you're pretty deep at the position. So I think they gave him some good weapons there. The running backs, it's kind of a weird situation. You don't have any one bell cow, one guy who is going to get the bulk of the carries per se. But you've got Ty Johnson, who looked fairly impressive when he was giving carries last year. You got Michael Carter, the rookie out of UNC, who looks like he could be a pretty good all-purpose weapon. You've also got Tevin Coleman, who will get some touches here and there, but seems to really know the system. And then you take a look at the offensive line, and well, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're world beaters. What I will say is we talked about Becton already, and while there's going to be some more bumps in the road, he obviously was a very impressive rookie last year. You got Elijah Vera Tucker, who they drafted in the 1st round, who looks like a very clean prospect, and it would be tough to be a downgrade from what they had at guard last year. You bring in Morgan Moses, who is a really good offensive lineman. I know he struggled at points in camp a little bit, but I think that anybody who is coached by John Matsko, and I should just say I'm a little biased.
Don't say that name on this show. He's the most overrated offensive coach in the history of coaches.
Tony, don't slander John Matsko. I'm friends with his nephew. Let's not go there. So that's why I'm pumping up John Matsko.
Everybody says his name. I said his name for 12 years, and then everybody sucked. But in all offensive line. How can you be a great coach and never have a good offensive line?
Well, he had a good one in Washington last year. But I mean, my main point is that Morgan Moses is an upgrade over what they had at right tackle last year.
Wonderful.
Becton should be better than what they had. He should be better in his 2nd year, I should say. Elijah Vera Tucker should be an improvement over Alex Lewis. It would be hard not to. You still have Greg Van Roten. And then, I mean, Van Roten's whatever. But then you have Connor McGovern, who struggled at times last year. But you hope that if you've got other guys around McGovern, now it'll help lift his play. So I think they did a fair amount to improve the offensive line. The running back group should be better than it's been the last couple of years. And the receivers should be much better than they've been really since 2015. So to answer your question, Cody, do I think they've surrounded him with the greatest supporting cast ever? No. But do I think he has a fair amount of weapons and improved protection? Certainly much better than what Sam Darnold had. Yeah, definitely.
The Panthers have 2 main weaknesses for their team. If you ask any fan right now, it's going to be the question surrounding our team, surround the offensive line and the linebacker core. Where are the question marks? If we're going to ask you where the question marks about the Jets were, who is your offensive line and linebacker core to us, I guess?
So their inside linebackers are very thin. Their edge rushers are very thin. The cornerbacks are not particularly seasoned. And so I would say those are the main areas. On offense,
that sounds like your defense sucks if you say it like that. Our defensive ends, linebackers and our cornerbacks. That sounds like we should throw up 40 on you.
Yeah, but I will say this though. Keep this in mind. Robert Saleh last year with the 49ers had a lot of injuries, and he was thin in a lot of positions he wasn't expecting to be thin at. And that defense massively overachieved what was expected of them after the injuries. So I'm curious to see what him and Jeff Ulbrich cook up. The other thing is, of course, we don't know what these rookies are going to do, but if these rookies perform at a higher level than we're expecting, then that defense could be better than it looks on paper. So, yeah, I mean, on paper, the Panthers should be able to exploit some mismatches, but we'll see. It's very much a work in progress in a lot of ways.
So, Scott, I want to call your attention first to a matchup that I know us Panther fans are going to be looking at, but I think you Jets should be looking at too. And just like you guys have been head over heels impressed with Elijah Moore, I'm here to tell you we are loving what we have seen from our first round pick, JC Horn. And the matchup that we're all excited about is JC Horn on Elijah Moore, because that's two very good, very highly touted rookies coming out and doing battle to start the week. I think that's going to be one of the best receiver cornerback matchups in all the NFL this Sunday. I mean, let alone just being two rookies. And then the next one I have is a question for you. We would be remiss if we let you go without mentioning the name Frankie Louvu, because I don't know what that name means to you. What that guy
means
did
a
for,
lot
what
to
that
us.
guy, what that guy did for you as a New York Jet. But let me tell you something, Scott. This dude has come out of nowhere. He has done nothing but fly around, smack people in the mouth, and just be an overall demon on the football field. And it couldn't come at a better time. Our linebacker depth right now is by far one of the biggest weaknesses on our football team. Tell me anything, if at all, you know about Frankie Louvu. And is it such a surprise that he's coming on this strong for us right now?
So first, before I get to Frankie Louvu, I should say that I was co-president of the JC Horn fan club leading up to the draft with Kayla Pace, who I know you guys are going to have on after the game on Sunday. Kayla is a South Carolina alum, so she really is in on JC. I had been saying since very early in the college football season that JC Horn was not just the best cornerback in the draft, but that you could make a legitimate case that he was the best defensive player in the draft, or certainly right there at the top. I love Horn. I think that he's going to be an absolutely phenomenal cornerback. And so, yeah, him and Elijah Moore should be a really fun matchup. I hate to have to root against JC Horn, but I'll have to do it this week. As far as Frankie Louvu, it's interesting because he's one of those guys that was sort of like a weird, scrappy underdog fan favorite. He was an undrafted free agent. He would make an occasional play here and there, but he was what you would call a tryhard. So he's not one who's like super physically gifted or anything like that. But he had such a motor. That was the thing you kept hearing over and over again in training camp before you saw the actual games. And in the games, he would make some plays here and there. I'm not familiar with what he's been doing with the Panthers so far, so I'll take your word for it that he's been really killing it. And I'm happy for him. I hope that he does well for you guys. We'll see what happens during the regular season games. He was more or less like a decent rotation piece when he was here. So if he turns into more than that for you guys, that's awesome. He was always, by all accounts, a really good kid, hard worker, somebody who was always gracious to the media and the fans. So if he ends up being the guy that you're talking about right now and being more than he was when he was here, great, good for him. I'm glad to see him doing well.
All right, final question: who wins on Sunday?
Oh, man, that's a tough one.
There's only two answers, unless you say time.
Well, all right. Well, you got to remember, I'm somebody that watched Sam Darnold for 3 years. So I saw the ups, I saw the downs, I saw the highs, I saw the lows. So it's a very difficult question for me because here's what I'll say. If the Jets can find ways to confuse Darnold early, get him off his rhythm, pressure him, and force him into making mistakes, then I think that the Jets will probably win because I think the Jets are going to be fairly conservative with Wilson in game one. They threw a lot at him in training camp, and they wanted him to be ready for stuff. But as you saw in the preseason, they sort of went slowly with him. I think if Darnold – I really think that this game is going to be a matter of how well Sam Darnold plays. If Darnold has what we would call a good Darnold game, I think the Panthers will win. If he doesn't, I think – well, that's what we used to say because Darnold. I
know. I'm adopting that right away. Yeah. Like it's already in my vocabulary.
Yeah, we used to. I know it was Dan Hansis from the Around the NFL podcast. He used to call. He's a big Jets fan. He used to call Geno Smith the Geno coaster because you didn't know where you were going. The ride was going up, it was going down. Darnold was very much like that. But I will say, Darnold, when he was playing really like his good games, I mean, look, he's obviously super talented. There's a reason why he was drafted where he was drafted. So if he gets in a rhythm and he's playing well, he can. The Panthers should win this one fairly easily. But if the Jets can fluster him, if they can force him into turnovers, which we've seen happen quite a bit with him as well, those would be the bad Darnold games. If we see bad Darnold, I think the Jets will win. So that I can't. I'm not sure who's going to win. It's a toss-up, but I think it's all going to ride on how Darnold plays.
You cannot set the fence any harder than that. Scott, tell them
True.
where they can find your work at, brother.
Well, first of all, you can find me sitting on a local fence near you. You just go to wherever you see a fence. I'll be sitting there. But you can catch me every single day, 7 days a week. God help me. A brand new podcast. It's obviously it's called Play Like a Jet. You can download it Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever else you download podcast, iTunes. Also,
we don't even know. We just make them. We don't even listen to them.
Yeah, you just throw them out there wherever people find them. And then we've got playlikeajet.com. We've got the YouTube channel, which has close to 1,000 subscriptions, which is awesome because we only started it about 2 or 3 months ago. So anybody that wants to check that out, we welcome that. Play Like a Jet 1 on Twitter. Tony, you were gracious enough to come on that show. We're speaking right now on a Tuesday. Tomorrow morning, I guess, so midnight, only a few hours from now, the episode with Tony breaking down the Panthers will be up. So if nothing else, come listen to that one to hear the professor talk about the Panthers and enlighten us about what we should expect, kind of the reverse of what you're listening to now. And look, throughout the week, this week at least, I don't know about after this week. You may not care about the Jets after this week, but we've got a bunch of really cool shows this week talking about the Jets from every angle. So if you really want to hear even more about the Jets than what I was talking about on the show today, go ahead and check it out. And we've got great videos up, film, and everything. So, and Kayla, who is going to join you guys on Sunday, she's got her commentaries up there called Pace's Playbook. By the way, Tony, I told you, when she comes on the show on Sunday, the one thing you have to do is start the show by letting her praise J.C. Horn. So I hope you're okay with that.
It's all right.
But,
no, I'm about to put on a blind date with Cody Lashney.
Hey, but she might
right now.
Hey, she might have no choice but to he praises on J.C. Horn after the day.
It's true.
Yeah, she already loves him. She loves him. Y'all are gonna get married in J.C. Hornland.
Yeah, I'm down.
If that was an actual amusement park, I think I might go. But yeah, guys, I really appreciate you having me on. It's always a pleasure. Anytime you want me to come on, I'm happy to do it. And Tony, I love having you on. So I'm glad you were able to make some time to come on and enlighten us about the Panthers. And look, obviously I'm hoping the Jets win, but I hope that it's a competitive game. I hope it's a fun game. And I hope that after this week that the Panthers do really well and surprise some people.
Too gracious. Thank you, Scott Mason. Play Like a Jet. You can find him on all your major podcast outlets. Too gracious. We want them to lose. I want the Jets to I want Sam Darnold to deliver it, and I want to have a beautiful piece of pizza one day with Scott Mason, who says he knows every great pizza place in New Jersey and New York. I love it. All right, you're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast. The number is 252-228-5098. CK's back in the house. Would you like to listen to a cat call or?
Let's do it.
All right. Because then I need you to pull up that David Newton nonsense. We got some of that to talk about later. 252-228-5098.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Hey, this is Kevin from Charleston. I just want to say one thing. Cody.
Oh my God,
Cody,
dude.
You got to cover
them
this
Clemson
one,
Tigers, man. Talking all that shit about them puppy dogs.
Oh my God.
Puppy dogs bit that Clemson ass. That's what happened. You know what I can't wait for? You want to know? Hey, Cody. Cody, you know what I'm waiting for? You know what I'm waiting for? South Carolina to play Georgia. And I can't wait for South Carolina to score a touchdown. A touchdown. Single. Or more.
The
I can't wait for
Gamecocks?
that first one.
What are you talking about?
One touchdown. DJ out there looking. You know DJ?
Oh
DJ?
my God.
Cody? You talk about DJ? DJ needs to change his name to JV. Because that's how he's looking out there. Looking like a JV team. South Carolina's going to whoop that ass this year, Cody. Just accept it. Just accept it, brother. Just accept it.
Is it done? Oh my God. I listening to a South Carolina fan gloat about another SEC team beating us. What else is new? All they do is celebrate the other teams that do beat us because South Carolina can't do it themselves. Listen, man, shout out to the Georgia Bulldogs. The Georgia Bulldogs straight up beat my Tigers' ass. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We're going to be all right, though, man. We're going to be all right. Our offensive coordinator needs to figure out what the hell he's doing. Tony Elliott, 1-5 in the red zone, and you do nothing but pass the football. It was ridiculous. That's another time, another show. But if you're a Gamecock fan, understand that that's all you're going to do is celebrate the victories that other teams get over us. You know, the team that you can't beat. So whatever.
Next call.
You missed the call, man.
Podcast brothers, how y'all doing? It's G Cavassier.
What up, G?
Hey, man, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like a goddamn fucking kid on Christmas Eve, man. Sunday. Our first game against the daggone Jets. I have us winning against the Jets. I'm not really worried about them, but at the same time, I take no team for granted, man. Hey, if you guys look at Panthers.com, they picked up that tackling bird dude, man. They released him. I think they put him on the practice squads, but now he's coming to play guard. I think since Miller tested positive for that COVID shit. And quick question, what y'all think about that dude Michael Jordan, man? What do you guys think about him? Not the basketball player, the football player. What you think about him playing guard?
Yeah,
that has my antennas up because I really believe that they're gonna push Moten to the left. I just have that feeling. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah. So I remember vaguely watching some Michael Jordan clips when he was coming out of Ohio State. I believe he was a center for them, or he played some guard and some center, and then he didn't make the Bengals roster, and then we picked him up. Listen, dude,
there's one play, Cody. There's one play supposedly that he was the one when Joe Burrow got his knee injury. He was the guard that got rolled over on him. So not only that is like a lot of people are like, oh, he's just going to get your quarterback hurt. Not only does he suck, but he's going to get your quarterback hurt. One play, it doesn't even sound like we're even trying to put him in the starting rotation at the moment, does it?
No, by the way, I don't want us to miss out and not do our due diligence. 89 J Stubbs gave us a $1.99. It says, sorry for missing the show. Catch it tomorrow. No problem, brother. And the man that was here had a question for Scott. I didn't notice until right after Scott had to leave. So my apologies. Thank you for the $5 for the man that was here. We definitely appreciate you guys, man. We appreciate the love and support. And yeah.
What was the question? Bring it back real quick.
Yeah, he basically wanted to know what he felt there. Yeah.
We kind of did that as like a little of what do you want to see on Friday? On Sunday, and what do you expect to see in the season? Back to G Cavassier's call. Michael Jordan is, I would say, an irrelevant name at this point. Not like I'm not trying to say he doesn't matter at all, but we're not really. He's not a fixture, or even I think being fielded as a rotational player. I think the Tecklenburg story, like he brought up, is actually more interesting. Not more interesting. I don't mean, but you've been interested in Tecklenburg. He played the entire second or first preseason game.
Yeah.
They practice squatted them. They saw something they liked. Why now? They're starting to pad this offensive line for the COVID bug.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're preparing for COVID, and they're just preparing for, frankly, an unknown road ahead of them. I mean, once again, Matt Rule said out of his own mouth, "This is I-85. It's a work in progress." And we've all been saying this. So I think they're preparing for that. They desperately want their current offensive line formation to work out. And yeah, we do too. Even though I'm predicting that will not be the final iteration of our offensive line, the one that we start with this Sunday. But I'm still hoping that whoever we try out on the field is incredibly successful. They just have to go out there and prove it.
CK, do you think that COVID is a increased storyline throughout the season or a decreased storyline?
Increased, unfortunately.
So you think more and more each week we will have to continue to deal with these types of discussions?
Just look at outside of what's happened during the preseason. You got to keep in mind, even with preseason, the stadiums aren't always filled to the brim. This time they're going to be filled to the brim. Like there's going to be packed houses all over the NFL. And I think that's going to be an impact. I know that they're not necessarily out there near the players. But I mean, listen, there's the way that this thing has been spreading. And I think that it's clear that these guys are still capable of getting it, in a lot of different ways. So I think it becomes a bigger issue the more as we go on, because there's more and more and more because it's just new people going to these games every single time. I think it's just constantly going to continue.
It's nonstop. It feels like it just is nonstop. And then, all right, the number is 252-228-5098. Let's go into the next call.
Hey guys, Chuck from Elizabeth City, aka Carolina Sports Guy. Want to get you guys' take and just kind of briefly tell me one guy you think is going to be a hero for the Panthers this week and one guy who's going to be a zero. And I'll take my hero and I'll say my hero for the week is going to be Brian Burns. I think he's going to get 2 sacks in this game. And I will say my zero is going to be our left guard, Pat Elflein, because I think he's probably going to give up 2 sacks in this game. But I'm just trying to go out there and see what guys look good this week. And, somebody's bound to disappoint. I'm picking us for about an 8-point win. It's always going to be closer than we think. It'll always be a hard-fought game. It won't be easy. The main thing is to stay healthy. Give Darnold some confidence. I think McCaffrey's going to score twice, probably one catching the ball, one running
there's
the ball.
Your hero.
But the solid guys are a pretty good coach, and I think the Jets will be better than what people think they are. But I still think this is a good way to go ahead and get us a game. And let's go ahead and get Terrace Marshall his first touchdown this weekend. All right, guys, I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Chuck from Elizabeth City. My hero is going to be Sam Darnold this week. That's right. My man, Joe Brady, about to get this offense cooking. Week 1, revenge match. Establish Sam Darnold's confidence. My zero, I hate to say this, I think it's going to be Shaq Thompson.
That's going to be the zero?
Yeah. If a player right now plays above average that exceeds my expectations, it's Shaq Thompson. You know what I'm saying? Like if Shaq Thompson plays average this year, it will slightly exceed my expectations.
We've wanted him to just meet our expectations,
right?
Like just be as good as we're hoping that you'll be at a floor level. And
that's
feel like
average. That's what I'm trying
to
say. Is average is my expectation. If he plays that, he kind of exceeds it by a hair. You know what I'm saying? If he's average this year, I'm gonna be like, thank Jesus. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
who's your hero this week then? Who's your hero? Let's not overgo on my zero. Who's your
my
hero? Yeah, is that Chuck wants to know who's the hero this week versus the Jets, and who's the 0? He said Brian Burns. Easy. Tasty.
I'm running. Hey! I'm running with the defensive rookie of the year. I'm running with JC Horn.
I like
you
it.
already
I
know,
like
man.
it.
Like, dude, I've been on this. I'm gonna stay on this.
I like it.
And look, I'm not even gonna overreact to the rookie bullshit. Yeah, he's gonna have some holding
You
penalties
ready for
here
him
and
to
there.
be? You ready for him to lock down Muggs from day one? I like this. I like this expectation. You are not saying that being a rookie is even acceptable. You know this is going to be right. I love it. I love it, man. If we have that type of corner, if we have that, who's the last corner that was like that?
I mean, dude,
not for the Panthers, just straight period. Peterson, he's kind of like that for a minute.
Maybe a little bit of Jalen Ramsey, although his teams were never that good that he was on.
Who was the dude that played for the Jets, and he played for the Bucks, and he played for everywhere? He's like the best corner in the history of the world.
Island. What's it?
Yeah. Like, that's what you're already putting the expectations in.
Fuck, why am I playing? Daryl Reeves.
Thank you, Slideshow.
You're the man.
All right, let's go to the next. Code CK. What is your hero 0?
I think my hero is going to be Sam Darnold. Because I mean, let's be honest. Brian Burns is expected to do well. Jeremy Chen is expected to do well.
And expected to do well.
Yeah, everybody's expected to do well. The only question mark is, and you might even say there's a question mark around JC Horn, but he was a high draft pick that has not played a single game yet. So his expectations are pretty high as well. I think it's got to be Sam Darnold. Like, Sam Darnold is going to be the hero. If we're going to be able to pull this out and show that we're a contender in this league, it's going to be Sam Darnold. And I think our 0, I hate to say it, but I'm right there with you, Tony. I think it's going to be Shaq Thompson.
If we really we're talking about like what it takes to make Sam Darnold a hero in this game. He's going to be a hero if like what's the game that he has to have to not be a hero? If he throws 2 touchdowns and 1 interception and 275 yards, that's a hero game right there for me. And I'm not saying it's a real hero game, but what I'm saying is, like, what would be the game that would make you real? Well, one would be a loss, right? The team loses. So, I mean, if he threw for 400 yards and we lost, that would be saddening a little bit. But what I'm saying is this, is that I'm okay with 275, 2 touchdowns and interception, and the Panthers win. I'm going to say Sam Darnold's a hero at that moment if that happens.
So I would also like to update my 0, which I'm hoping that this I'm hoping that this doesn't happen. Okay? But at least I'm being consistent, and I already told you that I was worried about this position. And that center and Matt Paradis. And the fact that he's going up against Quinnen Williams. Now, Quinnen Williams, that name might not mean much to you. And he hasn't been great, up in New York. He's starting to come on now. But I maintain that guy was one of the best, if not the best, defensive tackles that I've ever scouted coming out of football. I think what was true for Sam is also true for him, is that he was being coached by Adam Gase, didn't have a lot of help around him, and now he has Robert Saleh, who is a great defensive coach. So, I mean, as much as I hope and pray that it doesn't happen, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if I could see a scenario where Quinnen Williams is just kicking Matt Paradis' ass up and down the field, or even a combination of Paradis and Elflein, which is even more of a nightmare scenario.
Yuck. Well done. Well, way to put that into a terrible and disheartening perspective.
A frightening scenario.
I know that was. All right. Let's go to the next call. 252-228-5098.
Hey, listening to, I guess, last week's Pittsburgh recap podcast. Oh, by the way, it's Scott from Winston-Salem.
What's up,
So
Scott?
you guys are talking offense. Why do we have 4 tight ends? Why couldn't we have kept Davis and got rid of Ian Thomas? Because the 3 that played in the Pittsburgh game, or the 2 that played in the Pittsburgh game, Trimble, oh yeah, they were it. So I just don't understand. It's turning out to be we have a Panthers East, a Panthers South, and a Panthers North. North being Buffalo, East being Washington. And if we ain't careful, Washington is going to pick up most of our good players off of the practice squad. So I agree. We need some work at left tackle. Paradis is absolutely horrible. We need to. We should have found us a different center.
Right on time.
Instead of trying to pick up a
call,
long
Cody.
snapper. Really, we wasted a pick. We could have picked a tackle in the 7th round. I mean, there's a bunch of good players from the 4th and the 7th round. So I just don't understand. But I'd like to get you guys just thoughts on the offensive line again. I know you're going to talk about it. I think the one before the Pittsburgh game, you guys talked about the offensive line and how it's not going to be the one-all be-all. I totally agree. There's going to be some changes coming out. Dante Brown, yes, needs to play some.
This is a plant call, Cody.
More.
You
and
plant.
I don't
This is
understand why we don't
Cody.
work some of the second string and third string linemen in with the first string. There should be multiple looks. And for these draft picks just to come in and instantly start, I just don't know if I'm too sure about it like that. So,
Cowboy Cody,
anyway,
thank you very
that's just my
much.
2
I'm
cents.
stopping the call there. That was you, bro.
That
And
was
I know
me.
that was you in a cowboy voice.
He sounds a little different.
He is. He said, "You guys are speaking the same language." I mean,
yeah, man.
Straight up, is this offensive line? What last offensive line for the Carolina Panthers was solidified and stable though? I feel like I'm right at home with this offensive line. Like y'all are all panicking. I feel right at home. I think that Cam Irvin in that early game didn't look that bad. I'm ready, man. You want to bring back Matt Khalil? You want to bring back Byron Bell? God, I'm ready.
Well, but again, I'm also not ready. It goes back to that prove it deal that all the Panthers are having to do. Everyone's having to prove it. Well, to me, Cam Irving looking, consistent against backup Steeler players.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
damn
totally,
sure not.
I'm in.
I'm damn sure not ready to just anoint him left tackle, especially when Brady Christensen did look good at that position. The position that, by the way, he played all his college career at BYU. But then he was impressive at right tackle for us as well. And Taylor Moulton even looked good in his reps at left tackle that he had during practice and joint practices with the Ravens and the Colts. So, yeah, I mean, this offensive line has good people on it. It's just not all of our best players are starting. And Deontay Brown, and I've said this on Twitter. I don't know if I said it on the show, but the fact that we do not have Deontay Brown as a member of our starting offensive line, frankly, I think that's a disservice to our entire team. He was by far the best interior player that played on the Panthers offensive line, starters or backups, this entire preseason. He makes our team better right now. He makes Sam Darnold's life easier. He makes McCaffrey's life easier. I don't know why the Panthers are doing this Ron Rivera bullshit where it's like they're choosing to play the older veterans first. Like, I don't know. Have you seen something better from them than what Deontay Brown has put on the field? Because if not, why are you wasting everyone's time?
Right.
I don't know.
I know. CK.
Yeah.
Can we do a dumb David Newton segment right now?
Yeah. Do you not have the David Newton debacle?
Oh, is that? Yeah. Hit me up with the David Newton debacle.
Wait, what? Do you not have that anymore? The one I sent you?
Oh, I got it. Anyway. Do it live, impromptu. Did you guys know that David Newton is a debacle? No,
I missed it. I thought I was waiting for you to finish.
That was it. That's all I had. All right.
David Newton debacle.
David Newton debacle, guys. Just like the debacle of this podcast in that segment was. David Newton. Did you actually? I saw somebody say this. It's because this is how my brain thinks. I go one thing and I go to another real quick. Somebody I saw put up a tweet about. I think it was Kuntz, and he's like one of my favorite Twitter files at KOONCE Kuntz, and he said something like, "What does the Charlotte Observer pay their reporters with honey buns or something? Because these mugs be out of here like crazy."
Oh yeah,
Elena Getzenberg now, I believe, with ESPN.
Yep.
Marcel. Remember,
no, she's not
Marcel
even. She's not even. Was it ESPN that she went to?
Yeah, she went to ESPN.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought
for the Bills.
Yeah, and she
it was
did
Marcel,
just like Marcel. Yeah.
Yeah, and he left. He's not with the Bills anymore. Now he's with ESPN. He's covering something else. Right. So as we have to deal with all of the good reporters leaving, right, we have to remain with David Newton. And David Newton broke some news. And let me see if hold on. Can I put? I might.
Dude, doesn't it suck how many good reporters we've actually had that just end up going somewhere
and then afford to? And then you can't keep somebody. Look, David Newton is the best reporter to ever hit the Carolinas, bro. He gets more clicks than any reporter in the history of the world. I promise you. Why do you think he cannot be removed? Recently, we heard that John Miller would not be playing right guard for the Carolina Panthers, and David Newton tweeted out, "Panthers will start Dennis Daly at right tackle for John Miller out for Sunday's game. Not right tackle,
right guard,
David Newton." Yeah, I know. He wrote right
right guard.
It's right guard. He can't get it right, and he does. Look, we're talking about him, right? He's a genius. He's an evil genius. He's the greatest troll that never knew how to use the internet. How about that? What if he's like the Donald Trump of sports reporters?
No, you're not wrong. The funny thing is like, I'm starting to believe that you're right. Like I feel like
it's
this
awesome.
is all
He's
intentional,
brilliant, bro. He's brilliant,
and it's getting to me because like I hate him with every part of my body. I hate like everything. Like I hear him get there, like, all right, David Newton's next, and I immediately just assume it's even if it's a good question, I hate it. Like even if he asks,
I love him, man. He gets more hits than he with one keystroke threaded the needle. Like he meant to say right guard. Like what if he's not doing it on purpose?
There's no way. And honestly, dude, the fact that everyone's doing this now, where everyone's like, "Oh, I love David Newton. It's so hilarious, isn't it great?"
That's just me. I'm like the only person that says that.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not. Because Tony, a lot of people are on this thing that he's so fucking dumb that this has to be on purpose. It has to be. How many times? I mean, you're always known for misspelling names, for confusing one person with another, for posting a picture of one player and then calling him another. Dude, we can go on and on and on and on about David Newton just being an unmitigated fucking moron. And he is one, man. And it's like even NASCAR people fucking can't stand this guy. It's not a surprise that Matt Rule has already been annoyed by his questions. Ron Rivera was annoyed by his questions. Like literally all he does is piss people off. And it's like he's not even good at his job. We've been through how many
better at his job than anybody, bro. I'm telling you, nobody can unseat this king. That is David.
Don't you dare call him a king. Tony, this motherfucker rode the short bus with me, okay?
Jeff here, long-time listener.
I don't want to hear that, man. David Newton is the man, dude.
listener, first time caller.
Oh, hold on.
Love the show.
First time. We got to listen. I got to pump this up a little bit more. We're all going crazy about David Newton.
Jeff here, long-time listener, first-time caller. Love the show. I'll keep it up. I will start out with saying that 2 of the 3 of y'all need a haircut. I'll let you figure out which of those 2 it is. Here's the conversation starter. I want to say Hassan Reddick and Brian Burns are probably going to have double-digit sacks this year.
Love it.
Who do you think might be the third on our team in sacks? And do you think a third player gets to double digits? Thank you, and keep up the good work.
Fantastic question. I think the answer is in the interior, Cody.
Fantastic question, but terrible advice, bro. Why are you hitting on our luscious locks that me and Tony got growing out here, bro? Long hair don't care. Hey, don't be mad at that wavy gravy, baby. Come on now. I mean, you got it, you don't, man. Shit. What do you want us to say, man? But look, but your question was good.
Wonderful.
Tony, give me your answer first on this. Like,
my answer has got to be Derek Brown, like this interior line. I don't know who it is specifically. Like, I don't know if there's going to be somebody else that pops off 10 sacks on that joint, right? But if Derek Brown is responsible for 4 sacks on his own and then creates, telling you, eat. And the other safe bet would be Phil Snow loves to blitz a safety like a motherfucker.
Jeremy
he will
Chin,
send
maybe
the safety blitz. So just pick one of them, and maybe they're gonna get like 4. That's it. But like double digits, tough. Double digits is a tough ask. What are you gonna say?
Or any interior, yeah.
You know he is. He's gonna be like YGM.
No way. No way YGM gets there. He's not going to get the reps to be able to get that.
I don't know if anybody. How about this? Do you really think that 3 players are going to have double digits? And I'm not saying that they're ridiculous. I'm not trying to say that, but like that is if this defensive front gets 40 sacks, like how are they dispersed?
Bro, I'm telling you right now, like you said Brian Burns to get 12. I think Brian Burns is going to exceed that and probably push 20. Like, I think he could very well be, I know that sounds crazy, but he could very well put up cracking numbers,
Yeah, what did he get? 13 that year?
No, he got like a pretty good amount. He probably got close to 20, didn't he?
No. Really?
Yeah, dude.
No, I thought he about 15
is the highest I remember anybody doing.
It might
somebody
have been.
give me
No, wait, did he say I promise I'm gonna get over 20 that year? And he didn't, he got 13. Isn't that what it was?
I don't know what the number is, but if anybody on this team gets 13 sacks, I'm gonna be like,
I remember before the season, he was boastful that I'm gonna get 20 sacks.
That's probably what it was. I was thinking about.
Yeah, he's just gonna go crazy, and we all believed him at that point in time. I mean, listen, I don't know if there's gonna be a third player getting double-digit sacks. I mean, part of me maybe wanted to say Derek Brown, but even still, if you've heard me talk about Derek Brown before,
he's not really
he's not a pass rushing. Yeah, he's not that pass rushing 3 technique defensive tackle.
But he's mean as
Aaron
fuck.
Donald. Yeah, but he's meant to be.
Fun,
he's meant to be that big, powerful space eater in the middle who is so dominant that you have to put 1 and 2 guys on him. I mean, he's going to line up directly over the center, or maybe a shade to the right or left. I mean, he's that true 1-0 technique defensive tackle for us. But even though he's not getting all the fancy numbers and stats, I mean, that guy is going to be the most important part of our defensive line. Not Brian Burns, not Hassan Reddick. As much as we love those guys, everything is going to flow through Derek Brown being able to get consistent penetration on that offensive interior every week.
The best Panthers defense I've ever seen was the 2013 Panthers, I believe it was.
Same.
The 12-4, 60 sacks, right? 60 sacks. Think about that. It's like
that
if we
team will
really
never get the respect that it deserves just because the Seahawks that season.
Yeah, because they were the best, the next best in history.
Yeah.
But how do we? No matter how excited I am about this team, 60 sacks seems like it seems like an unfathomable number, right? And I'm not saying this team has to do that to be successful, but gosh, we're sitting here trying to figure out how does 40 work out. How good was that 2013 team? Good Lord. The number is 252-228-5098. Let's go to the next call. Nick.
Jeff here, longtime listener, first time caller.
Same call. Next one.
What's Hannon? Carolina motherfucking life. What is Hannon? We about to dog these Jets, bro. I don't get no sympathy whatsoever. And you see, I saw some dumb shit about C.J. Mosley saying something about taking them lightly. You gonna get your ass wiped. Some dumb shit. Man, you better wipe your own ass.
2-0. Feeling good.
Playing games
All right, let's talk about this. The Panthers picked up Royce Freeman, though. I don't know if you guys saw that earlier in the week. Former third-round pick by the Denver Broncos. Oregon guy. The Panthers are trying to find answers in the kick return game in the kickoffs. I've heard that Chuba Hubbard will be doing kickoffs. Who's returning punts? CK, we are used to this. Who the hell returns punts? It's every year. I was at a camp where I saw Ben Wickery fielding them. They're just like, who can do this back here? When will the Carolina Panthers get it right?
Dude, I don't know. Like, I don't know when we're going to be getting it right. I think it's hard to say, bro. Like we haven't had one since Steve's. I think we haven't had a consistent one since Steve. I mean, to be fair though, like what teams have had a consistent punt returner? Because typically, if an elite punt returner is an elite punt returner, they end up turning into an elite wide receiver, and they don't want them fielding punts, right?
Right.
So I mean, I think this constant, like, I mean, look at, Pharaoh Cooper, for instance. He was a Pro Bowl returner and he still didn't have a team until we signed him last year. And he doesn't have a team now. I don't think that there is going to be like a solid punt returner that we're going to have that, we're going to be like, all right, yeah, this is the guy, for the next 5 years. I think that it's a special teams position. And unfortunately, like, I think there's so many people that could do it, but the people that are going to excel at it are good at what they do on the field. That's not like punt returning, and they don't want to risk the injury. So I think we're going to constantly have this just cycle of we get a punt returner every year.
And correct me if I'm wrong,
was the last threat, dude.
Isn't the punt returner supposed to be a burner? Like, these guys are supposed to be a threat to take it to the house. And I feel like Chuba Hubbard, by the way, he did have some good kick returns in practice. I remember them talking about him, but to me, he's not really a danger to break out a long kick return. He's like a 4.
I think he's probably at least don't think of him as a punt returner though. A kick returner and a punt returner are kind of different. I know it seems strange, but the kick returner is kind of the straight line speed guy. You know what I'm saying? They ain't trying to dance. So at least maybe that gives it to him, a little bit. Is that we're not asking him to be the joystick or something on punts. The question is, who the hell is returning punts for this team?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Who's our punt returner then?
I know. I don't know.
I mean, what? Maybe Brandon Zylstra? I mean, listen, if Brandon Zylstra is still going to be on our roster.
Why is that going to help? That's not going to help. He's like 6'5". We need somebody that can run, like you said, somebody who is nimble, somebody who's agile. We even heard Matt Rule come out and say, well, I guess in situational places we could put DJ in. The punt terrible.
Yeah, but
if we're Panther fans right now, we got to be rooting for them to take the special teams out of the game.
I just don't know if I want them to put one of our major offensive pieces
back
there on punt return. But that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, Zylstra's on the team. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head what kind of 40 the guy runs.
He's like 6'3", though. He's like a tall guy. He's not a punt returner guy. He's a tall guy.
He's
That's what I'm saying. Like, all right, so you know what? He better ask catch a punt, or else why else is he on this team? That would be my question. Excellent question. Is why the hell is Zylstra on this team if he can't even catch a punt? He's too tall, though.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen. Hey, you know what? He reminds me of the Jerry Richardson's lawn boy.
No, you mean his illegitimate son?
Yeah. What was his name again?
Brenton Burson. That was his son.
That's what he reminds me of.
And that's why he was on the team all that long. There were neighbors. He was neighbors growing up to him. And we already know how Jerry Richardson was with these lady folk out here.
All right, let's
by the way, I'm not even I really believe that, by the way.
All right, next call.
Hey guys, it's Joey.
What up, Joey?
I'm drunk right now. Anyway, guys,
did you say I'm drunk
I
right
was
now?
thinking that
Me too.
I forgot what I was gonna say. I was thinking that Carolina Panthers are gonna have a great game. It's gonna be so fun to be there. I don't even care what happens. I'll probably come home being real pissed if we get creamed by the Jets, but
at least you won't have.
I wouldn't care.
Too easy.
If we lose by 1 point to the Jets, whatever. It's week 1. It's 2021. We all know what happened last year. A lot of those people are going to be at the stadium for the first time. I was at the stadium for the Steelers game. I did go for the preseason game. That game was full of three babies.
Come on, we got to
the reason why I say the perfect game to take my girlfriend to. I'm going to be taking my girlfriend to that game. Anyway, guys, I think we're going to have a great game. I think we're going to win. And wow.
All right, let's go to the next call. Oh, look, it's Joey again. Or it might be.
Hey, guys, it's Joey. I'm kind of drunk right now.
That is.
Anyway, guys.
All right. So, we've been through the cat calls. The number is 252-228-5098, where each and every week you can be a part of the show. This week coming up, we have the post-game show. And at least, I would say, Cody, are you going to circle jerking on Friday or what?
No, we're not going to circle jerking on Friday. Get people.
I feel like we shouldn't even talk about it. And when I say don't talk about it, don't talk about it.
Well, it's actually kind of funny because there's a select few people that were a part of it, that got to see it, that got to experience it live before the video was then subsequently deleted. So, yeah, man. Hey, I'll do my best to try and keep a penis out of your YouTube video, okay? I may not always be successful, but I'll do my best, okay? I'll do my damn best. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then just be grateful that you didn't see the first part of the Friday free-for-all last Friday, man, because,
dude,
let's just say some people are actual dicks, you know?
Literally.
Listen. We might get more people watching now just because of that. Like, is it going to happen tonight?
No, we might get our channel canceled. I felt like we were under the radar because it was deleted. But like, y'all dicks, keep them in.
Friday free balling.
Just the internet. It's just the internet of people that are trolling around looking for live shit to do shit in. I mean, that's what happened. Is somebody anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually
about that.
I was even saying during the show that I had PTSD about whenever I would bring somebody in because I was like,
I know,
there's gonna be another fucking swinging.
I know. Show yourself. Show your dick, motherfucker. Show it.
Well, and he was he was trying to even trick me again in the waiting room, trying to put up like fake webcams of like this old white dude wearing a Panther shirt just so that way I could bring him in for him to show himself again. Dude. Crazy. For those of you who don't know what happened, people are confused in the chat on the Friday free for all. I let this one guy into the show, and it's a man jerking himself on our YouTube stream, and I took that shit down instantly, dude. Took that shit down instantly. Erased the video.
Out of my, well, how long is it? Was 2021? Out of my 9 years on the internet, I have thankfully not had a dude jerk off on my YouTube stream.
Cody has had 2 incredibly awkward instances up to this point.
What was the other one?
Remember the Scottish dude was like, Cody, you take your fucking Cody. It was like calling me Cody or something because it couldn't pronounce my name, bro.
Didn't he say you couldn't even fuck your brother?
Yeah, he was like, he was saying all kinds of dumb. Dude, what does that say about me? Maybe dicks are just attracted to me. Like, maybe I've got that quality about me. I don't know.
You're why I'm here.
Oh, dude. Well, I'm glad I bring some of you here. I would hope. If you're gonna expose your penis, just give us like a warning first. You know, don't just pop it out.
Oh,
goddamn! Did y'all not see the Me Too movement? You can't just do that shit to people anymore, man. Yeah. You gotta ask first. Ask me if I want to see your penis before you just fucking whip it out on me, dude.
Cody, would you
come on?
Would you like to see?
No more questions. These questions scenarios. All right, we gotta get to some ice up pigs, which obviously have to do with dudes jacking off on YouTube on a stream. What? I can't even get past this. 9 years and yet a Scottish guy molested you. He verbally assaulted you. Yeah, he verbally assaulted you.
John Barrera said he was doing a live audition for a Manscaped model.
Get 10% off CPMP podcast. Anyway, all right.
And Kevin's right. It is a bunch of dicks on the Friday free for all. So come join us and have fun. I heard dicks are fun.
Without your thing in your hand.
Yeah. You know, proverbial dicks.
It's
not real.
Not a circle jerk Friday. It's a free. All right. Ice up picks. How do we ice up somebody in the midst of that? I feel like we should ice up this podcast. Good God.
I've got one, but I've only got one.
Come on, give me one.
I know I've been coming with the rapid fire, but I don't have a bunch tonight. I just have the one. And we've already kind of touched on it a little bit, man. You know, we've talked about Charlotte media as a market and just how, you know, our beat reporters and even the fans to a certain extent, although that's changing and we're helping to change that. But the beat reporters, they're very nice. They don't really step on people's toes. And I'll be damned if it doesn't seem like whenever one of them gets a chance to piece the fuck out and go somewhere else and move on to bigger pastures, they're ready to do so, man. We are not a final destination for anyone. Jordan Rodriguez ended up going to Los Angeles. Now Elena Getzenberg is going up to Buffalo to join the Panthers North up there. Keep rumbling, you know. And I'm just disappointed, man. Like I want some more prestige among the Panthers, both on the football field, around the fan base. Like I want Panthers fans to eventually become, you know, one of the most loyal, diehard fan bases that there is. And I also want it to be an honor to like write for this football team, for people to like come and want to write for the Panthers. And by the way, I'm not saying that they don't. It's all business. They're all getting promoted and getting paid and doing what's best for their career. But I just want, you know, people to take pride in being a Panthers reporter. No matter who you work for, no matter who you do it for, I want this to be a destination for everyone. And, you know, look at how many people the Observer has let go from.
Well, because they ain't making no money, bro. They ain't making no money.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, man. So I'm just icing up the media market. Put some respect on our name. I want some people that want to be here and take pride in, you know, reporting for the Panthers. And again, it's not saying that they don't, but it just feels like for most of these beat reporters, Marcelo Jacques, Jordan Rodriguez, Alana Katzenberg, people just they're here for a minute and then they move on to what is ostensibly a better job. Bro.
Print media is dead, and the Charlotte Observer is a relic at this point. I mean, it just comes to this: is that it's not going to happen anymore. Is why do you think all the people that we actually like to read their stuff are leaving? They ain't staying.
It's because other people are going to pay them more somewhere else.
Yeah, and it might be $5 more. It might not be much, to be honest. Like, I mean, they could pay like $40,000 for what they do in the Charlotte Observer, and then they go to the Athletic for $65,000.
Here's the difference: is here in Charlotte, you have number one, you have an uncertain team, right? With the Panthers, and outside of that, we don't have a super incredibly it's not a sports city where people are like so proud to live in Charlotte because they're sports teams, right? So you have that, but I think it also boils down to like where Jordan Rodriguez went to the Rams. That's in Los Angeles. Talk about talk about the upside. Like regardless of, they could literally take a parallel promotion or accept a parallel position where they're doing exactly what they were doing, but they have a much higher trajectory they can go into the Bills, right? Because you're going to have it may not necessarily be the greatest place that people want to go play there, right? But they have a much larger media market than we have, and so I think there's that part to it as well. It's not even just about our team; it's about the area in which they're going to be reporting.
Yeah, and Buffalo is a good team right now too. So
right.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't blame her. I just I want everything related to the Panthers to continue to build. I want the fan base to get more fervent. I want the team to become more dominant, and I want it to be an esteemed job to have writing content and being a reporter for the Carolina Panthers. And I feel like we're still building that. We're not there yet.
My number one ice up pick goes to the people that didn't give a thumbs up to this show. As you watch the entire thing, there's 103 people watching. Shame on you for not just giving a thumbs up. My name's Tony Dunn. The number's 252-228-5098. My ice up pick this week. I don't even have a great one. All right, I do have one. It's not a great one. I'm with Cody's virtue signaling. I'm icing up virtue signaling. I think this.
Do it.
And heaven forbid me. I'm this Italian Catholic. I'm tired of the COVID mess. I think that all of this is about optics, and not all of this. I don't want to say COVID is about optics. I'm not saying that, but like everybody is about optics, not about the real principle. And recently, somebody was telling me about this abortion law that they passed in Texas that you got it's like 6 weeks and you get like $10,000 reward if you turn people in. And look, I have no idea what the law says. And again, with COVID, I don't know the science or anything. I just feel like everything is you're just trying to virtue signal all this stuff. But if you are anti-abortion, then you should probably be anti-death penalty. Just throwing that out there.
It's funny that they're both the same. Like they're people who support the death penalty are the people that hate abortion. It is kind of funny that it kind of.
I don't know what you should be, but I feel like if you don't like abortion, you should also not like the death penalty, and vice versa. If you like the death penalty, maybe you should like abortion. Isn't that strange? Like
it's always funny to me that those are Republican issues too, because the whole Republican ethos is like, get the government out of my fucking life in every way, shape, or
Democrats
possible.
too. No, the Democrats are like this. Like all I'm saying is that like you either like life or you don't like life, right? And then and again, back to the COVID shit too. Virtue signaling. Don't make me wear a mask just because it looks cool. do things because you truly believe it. I've been to all these places and there's like 1 million people together, and then they walk out of 1 million people and they put their mask on.
Dude, did you see?
It's just virtue signaling. Like,
Yeah.
it's virtue signaling. It's like nobody is living their lives in what they believe. They just say this shit. And that's where I'm going back to the abortion. That's where I'm going to the killing thing. I'm going to the corona. God, stop it, folks.
Yeah, people want to make themselves feel superior while also making other people feel stupid.
Yeah,
and
it just
and
makes
by the way,
the whole goal is to make someone else feel
and
shitty.
see, they feel like they're doing something good, but they're actually hurting the cause that they claim to advocate for, and even doing that. By the way, and it's still kind of on the same thing. I wanted to give a shout out just to the city of Charlotte this weekend, hosting that Clemson Georgia game, like especially after last year and COVID. Like, dude, you could not drive this weekend, man. Charlotte
wasn't just that. They had
lit.
the whole classic. They had the ECU played there and played AMP on Thursday. Every night they had a big game there.
Yeah, I mean, this whole, from the middle of the week up until Saturday, there was a ton of games. But man, dude, there was so many people, so many Clemson fans showed up. And say what you want about the game, it was embarrassing, but there was a whole lot of orange uptown Charlotte this week, and it was just good to have people, back in a football atmosphere. And that was just really cool. I'm hoping to see more of that this year.
CK, you got an ice up pick for us?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of good candidates. I sent one earlier this week or late last week to the group chat to show you guys what my ice up pick was going to be this week. But I think you could also there's one that I'm going to go with, but I think we want to do a mini ice up for the targeting calls in college that have happened the past weekend. And I think if anybody watched Camp Confidential, the final episode, it was like a garbage episode. It was the worst one that they've done. So I wanted to say ice up to the, normally a really good media team with the Panthers. They seem to really phone that one in. It felt like they even, they decided to, like, it was like 5 minutes before the release time. They're like, oh, we forgot to do this. That's what it felt like. It literally just felt like they put together just the most random stuff. Like, normally there's kind of a story to it. This was literally just footage. That was all really that you were getting out of it.
Nothing confidential, obviously.
Yeah, nothing confidential, dude. Nothing at all. I mean, you got a little bit of Robbie Anderson, signing his stuff, but that was even very middle, like just kind of, uninteresting. It was, here's sign the paper, you're good. Anyway, but my real one is there was this guy who went on TikTok last week crying, like full on crying, 22-year-old guy. His name's AJ Wallace. Okay. He was his whole thing is he quit his job making $100,000 a year, snuck into an event to ask Logan Paul to hire him. And when he got turned down by Logan Paul because he snuck into an event and begged him and cried and said, I need a mentor. I need somebody to help me. After making $100,000, he went to TikTok to complain about it and cry about the fact that he just, like, Logan Paul was just bragging about how he made $3 million. I only made $100,000. I quit my job to go ask him for a job, to ask him for, to him to hire me so that I'm like, are you fucking insane, bro? This kid's 22 years old, making $100,000 a year, decides to go out and fucking quit and ask another, like, it'd be different if he quit to go and do it himself, right? Like, all right, you do your thing. If that's your dream, obviously, do I encourage you stop making $100,000? Absolutely not. As long as if you have a big savings, go for it, right? But to then go quit your job to go ask somebody else with no credentials on you, like no reason why you should be able to, like there was nothing. You just literally verbally assaulted him by going, or just verbally, I guess I shouldn't say assault, verbally just surprised him just to put him on camera and ask him for a job. I mean, what do you expect? is that not the sense of entitlement that that people talk about with young people nowadays? Like that is 100% entitlement. And it's just unbelievable. I thought that was so hilarious. I don't know if you watched it, Tony or Cody, but it was absolutely fucked.
So I've seen
Cody,
the video.
I've got to ask something. I got to bring in there. Is what if you were trying to become a porn star and you quit your job and then tried to jerk off on the Friday free for all? Oh my God, that would be equivalent, dude. Good
Well,
God.
that'd be a bad way to become a porn star.
Just like this was a bad way to become Jake, whatever his name.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no. People, I feel like today's.
I have the video if you guys want to watch it. Like I have it.
I don't want to watch this guy jerk off on this.
No. The one of the guy crying and Logan Paul turning him down.
That's it.
Wow. Yeah, you can put it up.
Hold on 1 second. Let me do it.
Yeah, once you put it up, I'll
Cody, you will never live this down.
I didn't do it, man. It wasn't my dick.
Oh, you gotta turn the sound on.
Can you hear it?
No.
No, I can't hear it. Hey, do me a favor. Hey, send me that link in the.
It is in the group. It's in the DMs. You can scroll up a little bit.
I don't. Oh, I gotta do it. You gotta.
No, I'll do it. This guy cover it.
Yeah, it's from Thursday. It's from Thursday.
What about my man who is this the same guy that quit boxing and started boxing back? Retired, didn't retire.
No.
He's a badass. Or is that his brother?
Logan, yeah, he's the one that boxes, yeah.
Which is the one that just
this
fought,
is
like,
the guy that you're about to see.
He's got heavy hands, bro.
The guy that you're about to see is the guy who boxed Mayweather.
Oh, the guy that boxed Mayweather. All right, yeah. Let's see where he's going.
No, wait, it's a story. I'm interested. Sorry. I just talked to Logan Paul. I mean, like, he was just being nice, and I get it. Media, whatever, he has to be nice. Before I approached him, he was bragging about making $3 million. I'm making $100,000 a year. I'm 22. I do make $100,000. That's cool. And I want to.
Read that
lie, man. This is lies.
I want to do these things.
Read this comment too while you.
Get this shit out of here. Yeah, this is about.
I don't know what to do. Like, I did come up here by myself. I do have family, but we're not the closest.
It's not true.
And I don't have really close friends. You know, there's millions of people trying to do what I'm trying to do. Just watch the clip, okay?
No, I didn't. I quit my job. No, wait, it's a story. I'm interested. It's a story. I quit my job legit 2 days ago. I came up here, took a risk. I'm originally from Ohio.
Did you sneak up here?
No, I didn't sneak in here. I didn't sneak.
That's your
like on
fucking
stage.
pitch,
Or you just
bro?
like
Yes, I did.
It's one of the sneak
I'm
videos.
sorry. I just.
Did you print the ticket and stuff?
No, I just needed to talk to you. I'm trying to
What do you wanna
talk to your
about?
brother. I'm trying to talk about business. Trying to get a job. Like I want to do media. I've been trying to get.
What are you good at?
I was having dances. I did like
What's
that.
your TikTok
I did.
handle?
I did that video. You know, like
It seems like you gave him a
know,
bunch of
really got what it takes.
opportunities.
I don't.
know. I mean,
Like,
I
need
need
a
a lot of airtime.
Well, why would I do that?
I want to be like. I'm 22 years old. I'm just trying.
I bet I can't be a
Turn this
mentor
off.
right now.
Turn
Right
this
in my life,
mess
I'm a
on.
fuck up myself. I need a mentor. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
a
Like I need
fuck
to
up.
Need
walk
connections and
away
you
from
need
you.
people be
They're
around
all
you, right?
No, I didn't have connections and people around. I have Jake. That's it. Do you have a brother? Do you have people? Friends?
I don't.
I didn't have
I don't.
connections. I
You got-
only had
you
my
got friends. You
brother.
got
I
friends.
don't.
You don't have friends?
I don't. I swear to God. I'm here by myself.
Where you from?
I'm from Norwalk,
Bro,
Ohio.
you're a good-looking guy, bro. You have friends, bro. You're fucking lying. You have friends. go make content. Do stuff with your friends. I'm glad you quit your job. It takes balls to do that, bro. But like now you gotta act.
He won.
Bro.
Dumbass crybaby won.
Dude,
Bro.
I actually think Jake Paul handled that situation.
Dude, I would have
Good.
just fucking kicked him out immediately, bro. Like, I mean, that's just like, even with him, everything he did sounded fucking whiny. Like, that's the thing that bugs me, is it sounded so whiny.
Because it was all fake.
Yeah. Like, dude's just like, I think he 100% snuck in there, and he 100% tried to do a sneak video to ask Logan Paul for stuff. And Like, I think it was 100% meant to try to get views. Do I think he quit his job? I don't know, but he made himself look like a complete douchebag on just a very wide, like just on a the amount of people that saw that video that now thinks that guy is a horrible person is unbelievable. I can't believe it.
Ice up to him. We start the picks this week, and that is, does anybody? I'm voting for the Panthers to win. Anybody going to take the jerk move and say the Panthers are 0-1 to start, or are we in unanimous?
I think we're unanimous.
Decision.
I think even with your boy coming on, Scott, like him telling us, like really kind of breaking down what we're going to see out of the Jets defense, just solidified it for me. Like, they have too many question marks on their offense already, but when you're talking about that many defensive question marks, like our offense,
people be about to be talking about us after this week.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. I think people are going to be talking about the Carolina Panthers after this
I agree.
week. I know I will be on Tuesday. Cody, you're not going to be one of those dudes that picks the Jets, are you?
Fuck no. The fuck I look like.
Get the fuck
I'm
out of
picking
here.
Carolina Panthers are winning 35-10 at home.
I'm with you, man. I like
bank.
that. I'm with that score. Boom.
We're coming out here to slap fools right across their stupid mouth and make them rue the day they ever thought they could share the same field as the Panthers. That's the shit that I'm on. That's what I hope everybody's
Sam
on, man.
Darnold teaching them the truth. All right, the number is 252-228-5098. It's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. It's the longest running Panthers podcast. You can find it on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast at. Please, if you're watching on YouTube or wherever, Facebook, thumbs up, share. That's all I ask for you to do. You can follow me on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. That's free. But you best check out my man, Cody Lashney. How can they find you, brother?
Yeah, man. You can find me on Twitter at CodyLac, CodyLac. I'm always giving my Panthers hot takes on Twitter, talking stuff about football. You can also find all my work on drafttech.com, where I'm the Panthers analyst for the Carolina Panthers, where I write first and second round picks for the Carolina Panthers. And you know what, Tony Dunn? A dick will not deter me. A dick will not deter me. We will continue to have the Friday free-for-all at 7 p.m. where you can join the show. Now, you must have clothes on when you do. But if you do have clothes on, you can come on. You can talk about these Panthers. You can tell me that I'm dumb, that I don't know shit about this football team. You can tell me I suck. I don't care. I want you to come on and talk about these Carolina Panthers and tell me what you think about this football team, man. Every single Friday, I'm seeing more and more people from this chat coming on, talking. I'm actually meeting you guys for the first time. It's been an incredible experience to be able to put names to faces. I'm having fun with it. That's every Friday, 7 p.m. Friday free for all on this YouTube channel. Tony,
don't be a dick and hang out with us. Also, CK, I want you to drop this joint on Thursday. Is that too much?
That video?
Yeah.
No, bro, we can't do it on Thursday. That's the first day of that's Thursday night football, dude.
All right.
We can't compete. We got to do it Saturday.
Nobody's gonna look. Just get it out there. It's so good. What do I need to do to help? CK's been doing these. He's been and actually Cody and you and Cody did as well. Madden simulations, doing the commentary. It's been gorgeous. I want it sooner than later.
I mean, I guess I could do them Wednesday nights. I mean, get them out to you for Wednesday.
Not Wednesday night, every night. I'm just ready for this one. What is going to happen? I mean, I can't wait to hear you talk about Sam Darnold facing his former team. What can we do to help? Actually, what can we expect this week? Should I say?
You know, we have a solid 53-man roster now. We have an idea of number one. We know I've got to make sure we got the roster for Jets up to date. like EA is not greatest with updating the rosters. They still have Will Greer on our team. So I've got
he's with the Texans, by the way.
Yeah. He's did he sign with the Texans?
I think so. I
thought he went with Dallas.
Oh, it was Dallas. One of those Texan teams. You're right.
Joey Sly. Joey Sly was
with the Texans. That's right.
Yeah, went to the practice squad over there. But I mean, we have a lot to talk about. This is gonna be the game one of the actual meaningful games that we're gonna have to deal with all year. And you're gonna have a lot of different narratives. You're gonna have the Robbie Anderson, and we don't want to talk about Sam Darnold. We got to also think about Robbie Anderson was in on this mix too, right? We have a lot of unknowns within our offense and our defense. Our offensive line is going to be put to the test with that defensive front. I know it's not the greatest defensive front, but it's going to be something that it's still going to be something we have to try to. We're going to be able to see what this offensive line is about, and if there's going to be need for rotation. Or anything like that. C-Dog, this is one thing I will agree with you on. Madden 22 is not the greatest. They've updated it. It's gotten a little bit better, but it's I don't have it for the purpose of playing the game and enjoying the game. I have it for the purpose of being able to do these simulations and have some extra Panthers content that we can put out for you guys. That's what we plan on doing, and just be on the lookout for that. It's going to be every week before the actual Sunday or before the day typically the day before the actual game is going to be. So obviously we play on Sunday. It's going to be that Saturday prior. And that's going to be a continued thing until we blow this thing up and we can start getting some real personalities from the Panthers media to even be a part of it.
Where can they find your work, CK?
You can find me anywhere, really. CoatDizzle_Allen, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all of the above. Come check me out, man.
You're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. My name's Tony Dunn. You can follow me on Twitter at cat_chronicles as the East Carolina Pirates trying to take down those stupid ass Gamecocks this week. The Pirates, man, we're trying to climb out of the muck when it comes to college football.
Oh, y'all play South Carolina this week?
Yeah. We played Appalachia anyway.
Hey, I'm pulling for you, brother. Go and see you, baby. Knock them coots down the peg, man.
Here we go. Anyway, Sunday post-game show, folks. Panthers, week 1. We're gonna have New York Jets reporters coming in to talk about it. We're gonna have your calls 252-228-5098. Hit me up. Subscribe. It's free. We'll see you Sunday. Keep pounding. Go Panthers. Get us out of here, Cody.
Keep pounding.